Ed here, 12:10. It's Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday. That's what we do every week. And today we're going to have a look at brain fog. Now, this is a big topic. I'd love to hear from you actually on this. If you're dealing with this at the moment, please feel free to send me a text. What are the symptoms you're struggling with? 81333 on the text. Begin your message, WM. Now, last week, the BBC's technology editor, Zoe Kleinman, shared a very personal post on LinkedIn about dealing herself with brain fog.
Basically, what happened was I'd already been working a busy day in the BBC newsroom here, and the story about this outage broke later on in the day, and it was a big story. It was affecting dozens of websites and apps. As we were getting towards the news at 10, I was starting to feel tired, and I could just feel that haze of brain fog. And what I wanted to do, you heard me doing it there, I wanted to use the phrase the company itself had used to describe what had happened during this outage, and then I wanted to explain what it actually meant. I couldn't remember the phrase. It just wasn't sticking in my head. I don't have autocue. I'm standing there. It's dark. There's a light on me, a camera in front of me. I can hear the 10 o'clock news in my ear. I'm getting ready. And I just thought, I am not confident I can remember this. I'm going to have a page of notes. And I've been trained to not use notes. You know, I've been broadcasting for 20 years. My short-term memory has been my superpower. And it was really quite difficult for me to say, actually, I'm going to have to hold this page. It felt really, really tough at the time. It felt like a failure.
How relatable is that? So, brain fog, term referring to a collection of symptoms, including not being able to concentrate, forgetfulness and mental slowdown. The post that Zoe made has been viewed thousands and thousands of times, and many people have just sent their own messages of support as well with their own experiences. I think as you get older as well, it happens, right? Scientists now claim to have an explanation for what is termed brain fog. So let's find out more about it. Joining me now is Dr Lindsay Browning, a psychologist, a neuroscientist and sleep expert. Lindsay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Right. Let's talk about this. Brain fog. What is it?
So brain fog can come from many different sources. It's lack of sleep is a major one, because even just a mild amount of sleep loss slows thinking and makes it harder to focus. But other things like hormonal changes, especially in women in midlife, can make your mind just feel like it's not as sharp. And other things like low iron, low vitamin D, thyroid problems, all of these things can affect your ability to concentrate, have energy, and cause brain fog.
When do you need to worry about it? Because I think everything you've described then, I think most people hearing this now will at some point have experienced brain fog, especially as you get older. How do you know if it's just maybe a lack of sleep, or you got a bit of a cold, or it's something else?
So many episodes are temporary, and especially if you've had a period of poor sleep, you'll know that, okay, I'm not feeling my best because I clearly didn't get enough sleep last night. And with those incidents of brain fog, that's where that study that you mentioned sort of shed a light on what's possibly going on, because during a wake, what this study found is that people's brains had pulses of cerebrospinal fluid, which is a big word, but it means that a certain action that takes part in your brain during sleep was happening during awake time, and that was linked to these sort of momentary lapses in concentration. So if you've had a poor night's sleep, it's very likely that this brain fog is linked to that. But if you're consistently having brain fog day after day, perhaps your sleep is bad several days, several months, weeks in a row, then that's a time to speak to somebody and find out what's going on. Because if it is something like a vitamin deficiency, a thyroid issue, or hormonal issue, if you speak to your GP and you can get those things balanced out, that will help you to relieve and get rid of that brain fog. And if it's a sleep issue, getting your insomnia sorted again is going to get you enough sleep so that you're able to concentrate and have that sharp mind during the day.
So what other things can affect it then? We've talked a bit about sleep there. What else is on the list?
So vitamin deficiencies like an iron deficiency, thyroid problems, people with an overactive or underactive thyroid, and obviously menopause-related changes, that changes in fluctuation hormones during perimenopause, menopause, can really have a significant impact on the brain's ability to concentrate and cause this persistent brain fog.
So the advice is speak to a GP and have the test done to try and work out what the underlying cause may be.
Absolutely. If you have the occasional brain fog, momentary lapse during the day, these things are very normal. But speak to your GP if this is becoming a pattern, if this is becoming regular, if your sleep is consistently poor, if you're really finding that your brain lapses, your brain fog are affecting your everyday life, that's the time to speak to a GP. But we don't need to overreact, because we all have moments where we forget where we put our phone and it was in the fridge.
We've all done that. Absolutely. And does it affect men and women?
Yes, absolutely. Women may be slightly more likely to be affected because of the hormonal fluctuations that women tend to experience compared to men. But still, men are just as likely to have iron deficiencies, low vitamin D, thyroid issues, and also anxiety and stress can play a part in brain fog. If you're overwhelmed, if you're super anxious, you may well find that you're having difficulty concentrating, and men can be affected by stress just as much as any other member of the population.
So finally then, let's just have some tips from you in terms of if you think it's kind of lifestyle factors, what can we do? We've talked about sleep, so you need to get, is it 8 hours? Is that the standard amount?
Well, that's quite unhelpful, because 8 hours is just the middle number. So
Right.
Science suggests that adults should get somewhere between 7 to 9 hours regularly. It's not 8 is the special number. It's just, that's the sort of the average. So if you're regularly getting enough sleep and you're giving yourself a wind down time before bed, you're physically active during the day, lots of exercise, lots of bright sunshine during the day, these things will really help you to get a good day, helps you get a good night's sleep, which will help you to try to avoid brain fog the next day as much as possible.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time. Really interesting as well. That's Dr Lindsay Browning, a psychologist, a neuroscientist and sleep expert, talking about brain fog. It affects us all, right?